Welcome to the podcast. It's been a really exciting few weeks with the release of our sitcom Isleanders on YouTube, but I promise you next week is going to be even more crazy with the release of our teaser trailer for Midgies, our future feature film. Please make sure you're following us across all social media platforms. You'll get the longer form stuff on YouTube, but we also post a lot of weekly stuff on Instagram, so please make sure you're following us across there too. I've really enjoyed seeing the responses to our sitcom Islanders. It's amazing to see a little Scottish comedy reaching audiences as far as Ohio and even Tasmania. Islanders also seems to be bringing in a new audience, so for those of you that are new, hi, my name is Alessio. I'm a Scottish-Italian filmmaker based in Glasgow, and originally I started this channel when I was living in Shanghai, China, where I lived for 10 years. Back then, we were making a lot of sketch comedy based around the lives of expats living in Shanghai under the name Mama Huhu. These days, the channel has evolved more into a creative studio with big goals, and we want you to come along for the ride as we try to make our first feature film and get more into streaming. Some of the guests are friends and people I worked with while living in Shanghai, and others are more connected to newer things or are more locally based here in the UK. Today's guest falls into that second category, Jamie MacColl. Jamie is an actor, content creator, and comedian who's just starting out. You might recognize him as Lewis in Islanders or as the telepathic ex-boyfriend in Thoughtless. You'll also see him in the upcoming trailer for Midgies. I think Jamie's got a big future ahead of him, so please sit back and enjoy this conversation with me and Jamie on a pink picnic bench somewhere in Glasgow.
Started doing stand-up recently. I did the Red Raw actually on Tuesday.
What is Red Raw and how easy is it to get?
So Red Raw pretty much is like a showcase for like new comedians at the Stand in Glasgow. I think they have one on Wednesday as well, but every Tuesday is Red Raw. And you sign up, there's like a window in which you sign up over the course of a couple of months, and then they tell you did or you didn't get in. I actually applied and I didn't get in, which is pretty funny because I like linked all my stuff and been like, I've got 20,000 followers on TikTok and all this, and then they were just like, nah. But I was very lucky because my boss at the pizza place actually used to work at the Stand, so he was like, come on. And then they gave me a couple spots. My second time ever doing stand-up actually was Red Raw, and the first time that I'd ever done it was the night before. Mm-hmm. And it was, it was pretty scary the very first time, but this time I went up and it went really well, actually. The week prior, I had bombed horribly for the very first time. And it was...
That's not bad though, you've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, that was so, Red Raw was my 9th time going up. And then I went up the night before at Tennant's Laughter Lounge on Byres Road, and I did pretty well there, but that's just like an open mic where it's mainly just comedians. And there's lots of really nice guys there. But the week previous, I went to Old Cheeky's, which is in Waverley Bar in Edinburgh, and it was so bad. It was the worst. It was the absolute worst I've ever done. Nothing
With
at all.
the crowds aggressive or?
No, it was mainly stand-up comics, but the thing that didn't suit me was that like halfway through my set, which was already going really terrible in front of all these comedians, but then like a pub crawl walked in.
Oh shit.
And it was really bad, and it was just like, as soon as they arrived, they started heckling me, and I was like, and it's like not a big stage.
You've not got the skill set to deal with it?
No, I was just like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was so bad. It was an absolute travesty. And it's funny because the way that's set up is it's literally just like, it's just like a corner that's like heightened above the rest. It's not even a stage. Like you can't walk around in it. You're just standing in the corner with a microphone. And I could just, it wasn't a big room, but yeah, I just remember seeing the guy in front of me, just like right in the front row, just like this, like cringing. And I was like, this is horrifying.
I'd like to get off, please.
It's really, really horrible. The only thing that would do well is when I was going like, oh yeah, this isn't going well. This is doing horribly. And people are like, haha, yeah. And it was funny as well because it was September 11th. It was like 9/11 that this happened. And when I was on the train back, I should have said I bombed on 9/11. That would have got a good A good laugh, probably. But I was just back on the train back, just like, God damn.
Do you think you got the bug? Like, you think you're going to keep going?
I really enjoy it, man. See, on Tuesday at Red Raw, like it was good from the whole thing, and it was really good because all my openers recently haven't been doing very well. Like the first time I ever did my opener, it did well, but it's just been getting like worse and worse every single time I do it.
Mm-hmm.
The opener doesn't work, so I was just like, fuck. So I was Sandra, my girlfriend, was there in the audience, and when I greeted her, I was, can I swear? Am I okay to swear? Yeah.
Fuck.
I walked up to her and I was like, oh, what's poppin', motherfucker? And then she just laughed at that. And I was like, I'm just going to say that when I come out on stage. I'm just going to, what's poppin', motherfuckers? And I did that, and it just immediately, like, it got a laugh. And then starting off on a laugh is so much better, because the last couple of times I've done it, like, my opening joke just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to try and, like, win them back. But I would say, yeah, I probably do have the bug. I really enjoy it. I don't have any time to write. And every single time I do write and I try and perform new stuff, like that Wednesday, it was a fucking catastrophe. So need to figure that out. I'm pretty fortunate. I've gotten into it at a time where there's lots of like open mics starting, and there's quite a few nights happening in Glasgow. You've got Tenants on Mondays and then Red Raw on Tuesday, but then there's also a new one that opened up at the Dram just down the road, which apparently used to exist but has since resurfaced, and that's a good one. And then Wednesdays, Darren Connell's got that night in Blackfriars.
So for the folks that don't know, where are you from, and how did you end up living in Glasgow?
So I'm from the Highlands of Scotland, which is...
Move up a bit, I feel like.
Yeah? You coming in?
You move up.
You want a hug?
And come in a bit.
Yeah. This pink bench is making me feel all kinds of things.
It's the Mythic Picnic
Close your
podcast.
eyes, yeah. Anything goes.
We are actually getting midges again.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that. As soon as I sat down here, I could just see them, and I was like, this is going to be a problem. But
I thought it was cold enough that they'd be dead, but
no.
they don't
when
die.
do they disappear? Like, what time of year do they actually?
I think it's all up in the air, like, because of climate change or whatever. It's just like someone was telling me they get stronger. They're getting stronger because, or more prevalent because of like the conditions being warm and damp.
Seriously?
So apparently they're only going to get worse. Someone should make a movie about it.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
So I'm from a wee town called Ederton. So I was born in Inverness. 50 miles above Inverness is where I grew up, in a tiny little village that had like 200 people in it. And I lived there for the first 18 years of my life. And then I moved to Glasgow and moved in with my father in Rutherglen. And I've lived here more or less ever since. I had a brief stint in Malta. But yeah, I started making kind of like things when I was about like 14 or 15 years old. I started making stuff when I was young. I bought a camcorder at a very young age. I saved up all my Christmas money and I started making YouTube videos with my pal, and we used to just make them and post them on YouTube, and like we had the whole school watching. And that was like the thing, and it was really gratifying because we would make these funny videos. We had this series called Hostage. Me and my best friend Sean, he was this guy who I would tie up, and I had this like plastic sheep mask on. I don't even know how. I think I bought it from Claire's at one point, and I just had it. And I would put the mask on and speak in a German accent, and I would slap him in the face, and that was the whole show. We did 8 episodes, I think, and we did 7 episodes season 1, and then 1 episode season 2, and then we never did another episode. It's like, but I used to do vlogs all the time, and I remember
puberty.
No, the worst. I was going through puberty when this was happening. I remember the first time I made this shot where I had the camcorder set up on this like really crappy tripod, and I put a torch on, and I like got a silhouette of me opening up duct tape, and it looked so cool. And I was just like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And yeah, I would just slap him about and speak in a German accent. and I'd be like, I can't remember, I was Mr. Sheep, and he was called Dean McGuinness. And I was like, what are you doing here, Dean? And I would just slap him around. He's like, stop fucking slapping me. Who even are you? And I was like, wouldn't you like to know? And all those episodes are sadly lost to time, apart from the season finale and the first episode of the second season. Those are the only ones that exist now. All the other ones are gone.
I mean, what's your, I actually don't know this, what is your comedy inspiration? Like, who's your go-to guy?
Comedy inspiration? Oh, man.
I mean, that's pretty specific, having a German guy beats another guy around. Who did you grow up loving? Like, I spoke to Matt recently. He was talking about Jim Carrey and stuff like that.
I know. I actually liked Jim Carrey as well when I was young. And it's funny because everyone would say I was like Jim Carrey, but my mum hates Jim Carrey, and my sister would be like, "You're just like Jim Carrey." My mum was like, "Yeah, he is."
But is there any any movies or like comedy specials you saw growing up that you just saw that? I mean, I remember me and my friend would sleep over at each other's places in the weekend and like go rent a video, and a lot of times we'd just like go buy the cover art in the video shop, and most of the times it went like, that's how we discovered Kevin Smith, like Mallrats.
Yeah.
Because of the cover art was like this kind of comic illustration of everybody, and then we loved that so much that we got into all the Kevin Smith movies. But this other time we rented a movie called Happiness, which was also illustrated.
God, I've seen Happiness.
That was like, for a couple of teenagers, that was like a rough watch.
That is a dark film. That's an extremely dark film.
But yeah, a lot of those films kind of shaped tastes for like what I was into going into the future. Like other odd ones we came across, like Gummo. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Like these are like random.
That's the guy.
We just go to the video shops and just like pick one of these.
Yeah. What was the other film that guy did as well? Kids. Yeah.
Kids was more of a classic. Yeah.
Kids is, that's a dark film. What's that guy's name again? I can't mind, but he also did Spring Breakers, and I remember he'd go on like the David Letterman show, and he was just a total like creepazoid, like a total weird guy.
Well, yeah, in hindsight, if you look at Kids and you look at Gummo, like
that guy's not okay. News. Yeah, he was like trying to sneak into like some famous actress's purse or something. That's why he wasn't allowed back on the show, because they liked having him because he was like a total weirdo and it was fun to interview him. But then like in the green room, he was totally just like sifting through people's stuff. But comedy inspiration, I don't know, man. I feel like I really liked Mr. Bean quite a lot. I was super into Mr. Bean. I remember the first laugh that I ever got was I was mimicking Mr. Bean for my mum and my sister. I'd just come out of the shower and I was like, I don't know, I can't remember ages, but I was like no more than like 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was just like doing that, the thrusting in the air. And I just had my pants on and they were dying. And I was just like, this feels great.
Yeah, I could use this.
So yeah, Mr. Bean, I think maybe the first comedy special I watched was one of Billy Connolly's ones when he was in the United States. I think it was like his like HBO special or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he ever did one for HBO, but I'm pretty sure he was in America because he was referencing it quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily know what was funny, but my mum has got a really funny laugh. Mm-hmm. So she would laugh and I would be like, yeah, this guy's pretty funny. Yeah. I remember I saw Eddie Murphy's special way younger than I should have. Like his famous one where he's in the red. Mm-hmm. Is that Raw? What's it called?
Yeah, I think Delirious was the one afterwards.
Yeah. And I was just like, this guy, I could sense that he was really funny, but I couldn't tell why, apart from when he was doing like silly voices.
Yeah, when he was doing the kids stuff, I think that translated to kids as well. Like that was one that we watched a lot as well. And so do you remember how we met for the audience?
Yeah, I do actually. You messaged me on Instagram out of the blue.
I can't remember. Your DM.
Yeah, totally. And I was like, ooh. I saw your name and I immediately went and looked you up.
Went to block it.
No, I was like, that's a cool name. That's a fancy name. And I remember you had like a fancy looking display picture. You looked like a pro, so I was like, oh shit. And I remember, and you had made that sketch where you and your brothers were, it was during lockdown and they were going to get like a thing of milk or something for, that was for the social, I think. I don't actually think that was for short stuff, was
That was the first one for yeah, we did like 3 for the social, and then yeah, that was the part of the old journey. But that was living on Irn during lockdown, and yeah, luckily I had some brothers that were willing to be on camera, and you know, obviously Matt's been on camera with me a lot and done a lot of stuff with me. So yeah, so that was how I was living lockdown.
I remember seeing that and linking you to that, and I was like, oh damn, it's cool that this guy wants to work with me, because I remember particularly liking that sketch. I was like, look at this, mum, showing her. That was before I even knew you. So then, yeah, we met up at the Bungo for a coffee, I think, and then you proposed I act in your Islanders, pretty much.
Yeah.
I said yes. I was like, I'll think about it. But I actually immediately phoned my mum and was like, Mom, we're going to be on TV. Like, so excited for it. And then, yeah, I think we spoke quite a lot prior to actually filming. I think you would send me quite a lot of scripts.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I was not long back in Scotland. I was kind of getting to lay the land again, trying to get my foot in the door. And at the same time, I was stumbling across your videos, which I was finding very, very funny. But not only that, like, as I saw like a lot of potential. Like I saw like all this energy, and like being naturally funny is like such a, it's funny, like a lot of Scottish people are naturally funny, but it's such a gift. And like yeah, I just got excited with the idea of like having you, and it was the one where you played both your dad and yourself. And
the AI
like
one.
sticking your head through the door. This made me laugh.
That video did a lot of favors for me, man. There's quite a few people that saw that, and it led to things.
Yeah, I was just like, this guy's got it.
Thanks, man.
So I reached.
Thanks.
No, but even since, like, we've worked on Islanders a couple of years ago now, but we've been kind of back and forth talking about new things.
Yeah.
And the constant is like, definitely want to do more stuff with you involved or together. But let's go back to Islanders, and like what was, so you were excited to be cast in it, which is
100%. It felt like a very big moment. Like, I remember that.
For me too. I thought it was like the start of many.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, and it like, it's mad to think, because it was like 3 years now?
It's like 2 years ago. Yeah,
2 years.
Feels like a long time ago now.
It does. It feels really long, but I guess that's just because we've worked together quite a lot since that first meeting, and just spend time together in general. So yeah, feels like a lot of time has elapsed. But I remember that, and you sent me those scripts, and I think what time of year was it you even approached me? Because we shot it in, was it like March or April?
I think it was like around Christmas.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to lock out a lot down and then come back and shoot it February, March. Well, it had to be done by March. It was like tax year thing. It had to be done. So we're pretty much straight after Christmas, we're into it.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good Christmas gift to get told it was going to happen. I think that was one of the things where like, please don't leave it till like after Christmas. Like, you're going to ruin the holidays. And then they let us know that it's going to happen. But yeah, it was definitely winter.
Did you have to approach them with a script, or did they just be like, we want to make something with you?
No. No, I pushed my foot through the door. I got the guy that was dealing with the sketches is like from BBC Studios, and that's the kind of gateway to get into more stuff. And he went on a break, and then someone else came in replace of him, and Rachel. then she let slip, oh, they're looking for new pilots, ideas. And then I had one that I probably mentioned to the before, but she was new. So I was like, oh, I've got this one. And I think that any of the gatekeeping was out the window just because she was there temporarily. So she was like, oh, so I've got, my job is to pass this on.
Yeah.
So I think I got lucky the fact that she was just like, passed it straight on to the head at BBC Scotland. He was like, yes, I want it. And yeah, I think it's got really, really lucky.
Was it the first thing that you submitted to them?
Like beyond the sketches, yes, I think it was the first thing. And it had an appeal because it was like set on an island, and the BBC are always talking about doing stuff away from the Central Belt, but then they always end up doing stuff on the Central Belt. And yeah, they went for it, and then it was like clench my butt cheeks for the rest of the journey because it was like I had to write it, and I think that was like that was definitely the biggest. Like I've written sketches by myself, but I really enjoy the collaborative process of writing. So like, being by myself was like quite intense. And then having someone like, if you got next draft, you got next draft, you got next draft. Here's the changes. Here's the changes. But no, we got there. We got there in the end. I remember thinking that I wanted to, like, oh, it's 15 pages. And like, can we just do 24? Like, just make it a full. No.
Yeah, I think the first couple of scripts you sent me, they were like, there are a couple, like, there's like 22 pages or something.
They'll be all right with it.
Yeah, I know, looking back, trying to film all that in like 2 days. I mean, just filming 15 pages over the course of 2 days was...
How were you with like memorizing lines?
I was pretty good because we had so many rehearsals. Do you remember on Zoom we had like heaps and heaps, and in the lead up I was reading it like every single night because I was like, I don't want to be the guy that's just like, oh fuck, do it again. I think there was a couple of things that I maybe it was a bit tricky, but I don't think I'm too bad at memorizing lines. Depends how much time I've had with the script. But in this case, I think it was pretty simple. I didn't actually have a huge amount of lines. I think Matt probably had the most lines. Because it was 15 minutes, like scenes were pretty tight. Like you didn't have to go a long amount of time before we cut. That was the thing. I feel like I had a lot more kind of like one-liners and just like a couple sentences, so it was a lot easier for me to remember. But then you had like Matt, who just had to do like a whole like fucking soliloquy to Maisie, and it's just I got fortunate in that. So thank you for writing short, easy lines for me. It was a really good experience, and like all of us living together and stuff for a few days was definitely something you could get used to. I loved it, man. I was actually just watching that making of video, which is available on this channel. Go check it out if you haven't. It's a very good video. But I was watching that, and it was like, I wouldn't say I was getting like emotional, but I was getting quite like nostalgic about the whole. It was a really nice experience, and it's kind of a shame because that was like the first ever like production that I ever did that wasn't just me in my room with like a couple of my pals. It was the first one that actually had like a film crew, and
film crew, 2 guys. This is me and a guy.
2 guys and just like 17 people in high vis behind the camera. But it was it was nice because it was a shame because that's the first thing I ever experienced. So now I'm like, this is what it's like. But actually, I've never been on a set since Isleanders, and it's felt that like kind of togetherness. I think, I don't know, maybe it was just the fact that we all just like traveled away to this fabled land of Arran and shot it all together.
Definitely like a nice way to do it is like all to go to a destination and shoot together. I think definitely I'd love to do that again in the future. How did it feel for you like when it came out? Like any life changes or any like quality of life changes?
Nothing too drastic. I mean, it was cool. Everyone was really, really supportive, and I was getting lots of positive feedback. Although now I feel like I cringe whenever I watch it, just because I'm just like, I don't know. struggle with it. I like watching it, but whenever I've got like my own shots, like sometimes when I just look at my own face and I'm just like, you're so full of shit, man. Just like catch myself and just like those eyes. I know exactly what I was thinking in that moment. But when it initially came out, I remember I was getting this like mad producer from like Finland reached out to me and was like, you should be in my film. And it was like this. It was a pretty good script, but I have since realised this guy is just like bogus as hell, and he was just trying to get me to write for him for free. He was like this. I think I told you about him before. I actually asked your advice on this guy, and you gave me the right advice, because since then he's still like, he posts about this like project every like 6 or 7 months, and it's always just like, we're looking for people to help out in some way. And I think all that happened was that I got shysters coming to my door trying to get me to write stuff, which is funny because I didn't even write Islanders. I was just like part of it. But he was quite, I went off, he was, nothing really happened, to be honest.
Well, you've done like together we've done a few little ad stuff. Like we did an ad for Irn Bru where you were, it's like a play on the Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Sexy construction guy. Taking a break, drinking some Coca-Cola, but except it was you salting the road in the winter and then getting some Irn Bru on you and stripping down.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. That actually, it's funny, I got recognised for that yesterday.
You get recognised more off of that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because Irn Bru ads are like more iconic in Scotland. Like they're like the pinnacle of like
it's the whole
comedy ads.
Yeah.
Everyone watches them.
Yeah.
But you got recognised yesterday?
I got recognised yesterday for it, and it was really good because I was with Sandra's parents, and Sandra, my girlfriend, she's from Portugal. Her parents are fully Portuguese. They don't speak any English at all. Mm-hmm. And Sandra's been trying to explain to him, like, oh, Jamie does stuff around here. So it was really cool for me to just be walking down the street with him, and there was this bouncer, and he was outside a pub, and he was like, oh, are you the Irn Bru guy? And they know like Irn Bru, they know that because they've seen the video. And then I was like, yeah, mate. And I was just like, yes, man. Thank God for that, because now they're like, oh, this guy's a big deal. You know, it was, I get recognised for the Irn Bru advert quite a lot. I get recognised a lot, but people don't really know what for. I think maybe if it's either like the social, or it's from like TikTok, which I haven't done in ages, or Isleanders or Irn Bru. Those are like the things. And people will be like, I recognise your face. I get that, like whenever I'm performing at the stand or something, people are always, I recognise you. And it could just be because I've served them a pizza as well, to be fair. One time I did get recognised and I was like, oh, yeah, man. And it was like, yeah, you make good pizzas, man. And I was like,
he slings pizzas at Kelvin Grove Park.
Yeah, just outside of Kelvin Grove Park. Man's Land. Tasty pizza.
Good pizzas.
Yeah. The Portuguese. Yeah, it's good price. It's good, especially for you. Great prices for Alessio and his entire extended family. But
everyone bring their fake mustaches.
Stop on down if you got a student card. It's any pizza, £6. It's good. It's tasty pizza. It's tasty pizza.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Yeah, man, it's fuck. What was I gonna say?
No, so
back to Islanders.
We've done stuff together.
Yeah.
People recognize you as they should. I'm a fan of yours. Like, I want to see you do more stuff, and we have this one project that I think really deserves to get made, and I think would do so well. Called Straw.
Yes.
Which we kind of started. I think I had the initial. I said like I really want to do something with Scottish cults. Like, I really want to do something there, and ask you if you were interested, because like straight the guy, I want to do something with Scottish cults. I want you to be in it. Like, and I think you're very funny. And then we started kind of for like a few months. We were pretty hard at it.
Yeah, we were meeting up like at least once a week, and sitting down, and like we wrote an entire was it a 30-page pilot, or is it? Yeah, it's 30.
Yeah, we've done an entire 30-page pilot. We did like numerous drafts as well.
Yeah,
I think we've really tightened it up.
yeah. I know. We need to take another look at that.
And then a film competition, because it's all about, it's basically the Wicker Man from the cult's perspective, which is where the comedy comes from. But it's got that kind of element of elf as well, that kind of fish out of water character. And it's that kind of, it's like between two worlds, between the secluded cult in the Highlands and then the adventure of the son of the cult leader as he goes on his kind of Rumspringer adventure to the mainland, where he has like a year to recruit people and bring them back so they can get killed.
Yeah.
But the reality is like he starts to find himself and like, slowly learns that he grew up in a cult, and then it has the kind of the challenge of like living up to parents' expectations, or like
the fate of the world as well. I mean, that's heavily implies is that if he doesn't return with something, then it's the end of the world. And part of it is him trying to figure out if that's just like total BS, or if it actually will, it's really good, man. And I really want to actually pick it up again sometime soon. But we did a shorter version for a kind of short film competition. So we've even got it down to like a 15-minute short.
Well, it's like two different stories, but set in the same world in different times. What happened with the short is like a competition came up and says, hey, we want a short film and we want it to be based around belief. And we're like, oh, we've got a cult story. So we can reverse engineer the script and like told a different section of the entire story.
Yeah. Kind of the season finale, in a way.
Or it's like a way it could end,
kind
of thing. And then they said, no, thank you.
But
but what we wrote as the short film is like one main location and probably a 2, maybe 3-day shoot, and way more manageable than doing the pilot without any money. So it'd be I wouldn't want to do it with no money. I think I've kind of punched that ticket already with Midgies, but
Midgies, wasn't it?
We'll get to that. But I want to find a way, maybe soon. In ideal world, I'd love to shoot it in November, like just finish the year with having that short film shot, and then we can put that into festivals and also kind of shop it as a proof of concept for a show. I really think it's something that could travel really well, because everyone knows Wicker Man, everyone knows cults. Horror or genre is a great driver for bringing in international audiences, but then at the core you have like it's a Scottish set story which can travel, which I think is really exciting through the humor as well. Like it's very, very funny, it's very dark. Like tonally, I really feel it could be that kind of Barry vibe.
I think we could shoot it for fairly cheap as well. If we do that kind of short film that we wrote, I think it's very possible to just get that hammered out, just like Isleanders, just shoot over the course of like a couple days.
We just need we just kind of need a property, like the right property, the right building. Maybe even Irn again, like we just stay there and film it for a couple of days.
So many actors on Irn, we need to pay for them to come over.
Probably, well, there's a couple of actors who really want to be in it.
Matthew McGill's available this time of year.
Yeah.
You said people want to be in it?
No, there's someone we want to be in it.
Oh, right, of course, yeah.
We've got someone who's like quite established, who's shown interest that we'd love to be in
guy
it.
Who loves it. He's gagging to be in it.
But it's that kind of thing, like he says he really likes it, but it's just like, I don't know how nice he's being, and when push comes to shove, will he do it? But if he did it, that would help it get a lot more attention.
Well, I think what's going to help it, and this may be a good transition, is once Midgies comes out, because you initially asked him to be in that, and he had to pass on it for whatever reason, he wasn't available or something, but when he sees how good that is, I imagine he'll be like, oh, this guy actually means serious business. I 100% would like to be attached to this.
That would be great. Yeah, this guy, I wanted him to be in something we just shot called Midgies, which is a proof of concept for a feature. and he said he was busy, which I didn't. I was like, is he just being nice to me? But then I found that he was busy.
Yeah.
And
Thank God he was.
but off the back of that, like when that comes out, which will be very, very soon, or already if you're watching this, if the reaction is strong enough, maybe we could raise the money very quickly to get that done as well. Because I kind of want to lay claim to the idea as well. I want us to like get it before someone else gets it, because it's like right there. It's one of those things. It's rare things where you're like, no one's done it yet. No one's done it yet. Quick.
Well, I mean, Channel 4 would disagree, but
not the same thing. It's not the same thing. No, not the same thing. But yeah, let's talk about Midgies now that we're covered in them.
Haven't been too bad, actually. I think they seem to be a lot worse on Irn when you were with Matt. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just get kind of stuck in my hair. But
we're also like getting away from summer, so they'll probably be dying out.
Died off.
But yeah, we've had this feature film written by Barry Hutchinson for a year now. Nothing really kind of was coming of it. There was interest, but nothing. There was no like fire like pushing it ahead. So but it came to this point where we had some free time, and like what we're going to use like effectively to do something at this time that will hopefully help things going forward in the future. And then we came back to the script for Midgies and realized that, you know, if we do a proof of concept for it and it's good enough, that it might get people excited again, and it might help finance the film. And yeah, we're all in. We got the support of all these companies, including Motive, who have done like special effects for movies such as Mad Max. They came on board, took care of special effects. We've had like color grading, companies giving us free insurance, free equipment, support from the crews, a really good cast, a really good score, as you just heard as well.
Yeah.
And now it's getting really close to the release. So we're presenting it as a concept trailer. We're presenting it as a trailer, and I didn't know, like, just shut up, put it online, pretend the movie exists. And we were kind of having the conversation recently, and they were saying, well, that's not really if you want the media to pick it up, it's not really a story. Here's a movie here's a movie trailer. It's not really a story. So I think we just have to bare our hearts and say, look, we made this in the hopes that it helps make the film.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique thing, isn't it? I've not seen many people make a trailer for a film that hasn't actually been made.
So I saw one recently, The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
All right.
So I watched that film, and then at the end of it, I realized it was based on a Kickstarter, based on a trailer that they put online as a proof of concept. First-time director, first-time actor, and that ended up getting executive produced by a lot of people, including Brad Pitt. So you really never know. I think it's been good to like show a little bit more skill in that direction as well, because if you're asking someone to, because this is a horror sci-fi monster movie, if you're asking someone to like invest in you kind of have to show like, well, what have you done that's like that. So hopefully the trailer answers a lot of questions, and also answers questions in terms of tone and scale and the humor that's in it as well. It's not just a low budget amateur horror film.
No,
it's got ambition.
It looks really, really great, and it sounds great as well. I mean, you said all those companies come on board and helped you, but like, are the majority of those, are they like favors, like people owing you in some way or another?
No, they're not. That's more. No, it's me kind of owing. I think rightfully, and I would do the same thing. I've done the same thing. Is like, if you see the potential in something, and how like if I have this attached to me as a part of my resume, then that'll be good. But also for everyone, it's like, well, if we can get this off the ground, then potentially we get hired to work in the future, and then potentially, you know, you might like help the scene. Yeah. So like,
well, that's it. I mean, just because of how Scotland is at the moment in terms of the film industry, TV, it's just like people bite your hand off for something that's actually like halfway decent, and if there's opportunity for it to grow, then it's a no-brainer. But I imagine that's a lot of favors, because you're a good guy, people believe in you. So I think the reason it's got so much support behind it, for quite, I mean, I don't know how much money you spent on it, but by all accounts, it's been done pretty cheap. And for how it looks, you wouldn't think, like, it looks like it's like a full-on, like, AAA, like, blockbuster, like.
But that's all of the people donating their time, all the talent of people involved. Like, it's really, like, that's just a testament to everyone's been involved. Dude, like, now it's just like, what's going to happen, because you've built it up so much, and you're going to put it online. Is it going to get 25 views? Is it going to do more than that?
Oh, you're so nervous, man.
Are you going to get the...
Oh, fuck.
There's this very quick to comment, like, Scottish mentality. They're like, shite. You're like, shut up. And they're always the fastest as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't...
Fucking hell, surprise guest. We got Spotty on the line. Spotty, what are your thoughts on...
We're not in your garden, okay? There's dog barking at us. But yeah, the funny thing is, like, you came on to help, really kind of you as well. You came on to help as, like, a behind-the-scenes photographer, and then you ended up starring in it.
Yeah,
I told you as well. Like, oh, you're still in the show.
It's a normal pathway, actually. They got that on the Screen Skills website, actually. From behind-the-scenes photographer to in the scenes.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, it was really fun. It was fun. I just wanted to be a part of it anyway, because I just know, and I knew. I mean, it is something special, but it's not been made yet. But I just wanted to be a part of it because I know that this is gonna do, like, really well. I know you're very nervous, which is completely understandable, because it's like, it stops with you. Like, it's kind of all. I mean, somebody else has written the film, written the script, but the person that actually kind of get it moving, like, the whole reason all this has happened is because Alessio just saw an article on BBC News about a
writer a writer tweeted that he wanted to make a horror film about midges, which are, like, very, very culturally significant in Scotland, because there's something that we deal with every year, and they ruin the summers. Like, it's like they're second only to the Loch Ness Monster, except that they're real. Or usually, like, you know, Japan has Godzilla, America has Bigfoot, we have midges. Well, some people would say Loch Ness Monster, but I'm saying
no,
midges.
hell no, man, because midges are real, and they are a pain in the arse, and it's so, like, disgusting how they mess with you as well. Because is it not like piss? Are they not pissing? Are they? I've heard that they're pissing on you. Like, no, actually,
They may
no,
be.
like, the girls
Never
are eating you and the boys are pissing on you, and it's like, this sounds like some afters and, like,
they're awful. I remember going
Deniston
camping with friends and not know what I was doing, and we, like, went somewhere where we were just absolutely swarmed by them, and we just had to stay in the tent, and, like, enough of them got in the tent, they just ruined the whole
Oh my god, man! I've got that exact same story.
Something like mosquitoes, but smaller, and harder to and they're in full swarms as well. Like, mosquitoes, you get the odd ones, but these are, like, full on swarms. Like, they're really, really fucking tough to deal with.
Yeah.
And in our story, we made them worse. But also the film's like this it's this kind of Scottish celebration as well, like, because there's a lot of humor from just natural Scottish reactions, and it's not, like, overplaying, hey, we're Scottish kind of thing. But it's just the reactions.
It's authentic, though, I think.
If you have a monster movie, but it's like the Scottish mentality of how they would react to it normally, but then also there's a family drama in there. There's, I don't know, like, a lot of higher ups that are, like, some would say gatekeeping, like, a lot of the scene and funding in Scotland. Like, there's talks that they're not into genre films, which I don't get at all. Genre could help, like, genre could be a vehicle to take your drama to a larger audience, but also then it brings in revenue because it's so appealing overseas, and, like, it can go international, that it can help bring up the smaller films as well. So why wouldn't you have a Scottish monster movie? I keep talking about it, but just looking at Korean movies and how they've just taken over the world, and how good they are. and how well they like dance between genres. Like there's not a lot of films like that.
But it's a good opportunity. It's like there's a gap in the market in Scotland, and once those higher ups do see the potential that it has, then it could pave the way for a lot more. I mean, Straw is kind of
Straw's there as well, because that's as we've written it, it's something that has an international cast. It does translate and has a genre that helps carry it as well. So yeah, that's like next on. I've learned to like spin multiple plates, and that's like the next plate, and I'm gonna start spinning and trying to go off the ground.
You're a proactive man. Very proactive.
I got no place
man.
else to go. I'm all or nothing. So, but anyway, it's getting dark, so we should probably go get something to eat.
Yes, we're
It's
gonna have
always good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. Looking forward to this chili or wherever we're having.
Salmon.
Salmon?
Yeah.
I don't like salmon.
You don't like salmon?
No, I'll try it.
For those that want to follow you, where can they catch you?
Jamie MacColl. MacColl is MacColl. Alessio is the only fucking guy in the world that is capable of spelling my last name properly. I was looking at something today. I was looking at that other podcast that did it. It was MCCOLL, but in the thumbnail is my name spelled correct.
That's my mum's spelling though. That's why I get it, because you're the opposite of my mum's last name, which is also MacColl. I'm a MacColl.
Are you a MacColl?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wild. Well, Jamie MacColl, I'm not really making much stuff at the moment, but
he should be. And for those that are looking to cast, like, I think Jamie's the next big thing. So,
and if you're looking to get a film made, this guy's also a huge thing.
All right, let's go. Jerk each other.
I thought that's what we were doing. What was I holding this whole time?